Massive strike in Ukraine shakes Russia. 5,000 tons explode in fireball. Last night, Ukrainian forces claimed they struck yet another Russian weapons depot. We've all seen explosions before, but this one stood out. In Kartysk, about 50 kilometers behind the Russian front lines, a Ukrainian missile strike hit a massive ammunition depot storing 5,000 tons of explosives. The blast unleashed energy equivalent to about 10% of the Hiroshima bomb. The resulting fireball and secondary explosions sent shockwaves through the region. Witnesses said the ground shook for kilometers around. This wasn't a lucky hit. It was the result of weeks of planning, drone surveillance, electronic warfare to jam Russian radar, and pinpoint timing to exploit a narrow window of vulnerability. By the end of this video, you'll understand how Ukraine's precision strikes are systematically breaking down Russia's logistics and command structure. To grasp how a smaller force pulled off such a deep, devastating blow, we'll break down the layers of preparation, the tech used, and how Ukraine managed to hit a target 50 kilometers behind enemy lines. At 4:30 in the morning on July 2nd, a series of explosions ripped through the Kartysk ammunition depot, which was a key logistics hub for Russian artillery operations in Donetsk. Ukraine used 6 US-made HIMARS to launch M31A1 missiles at the site, clearly aiming to disrupt Russian supply lines deep in occupied territory using accuracy and timing rather than brute force. The depot was heavily fortified. Russian engineers had set up multiple layers of defense, P-18 spoon rest early warning radars and Torm-2 air defense systems, designed to detect and shoot down any aerial threats within seconds. But the Ukrainian strike teams found a way around it. Just 2 minutes before launch, Ukrainian electronic warfare units jammed the Russian radars with high-frequency noise, blinding the Torm-2 systems and clearing the path for the missiles. This jamming was precisely timed to align with the launch window, so the missiles remained undetected until impact. The choice of missile, M31A1 GMLRS, was deliberate. Each carries a 91-kilogram steel warhead designed to hit fortified targets. The warhead was programmed to explode precisely 2 milliseconds after penetration to ensure the blast occurred inside the depot, maximizing internal shock waves. At Kartysk, that short delay caused a chain reaction. The first blast set off stacks of D-20 artillery shells, which then ignited Grad rockets and 220mm unguided missiles. The resulting series of explosions tore through concrete walls and steel supports, reducing the facility to rubble. The destruction wasn't just visible on the ground. American civilian satellite sensors picked up pressure waves from the blast as far as 800 kilometers away. Drone footage and local eyewitnesses showed a massive fireball and continuous secondary explosions that lasted for hours. Losing 5,000 tons of ammo instantly crippled Russian artillery capabilities in that area, disrupted planned operations, and forced a full rethink of their supply routes. HIMARS launchers were critical to the success of the mission. Unlike traditional rocket artillery, these systems are mobile and can reposition quickly. The HIMARS crews can fire and move before Russian counter-battery radars can detect and target them, keeping the element of surprise and minimizing risk. The success of the Kartysk strike wasn't just about advanced weapons or electronic warfare. It was about coordination and a deep understanding of the target environment. Every part of the operation, from jamming to exact warhead detonation, was synchronized to exploit a small window of vulnerability. The depot's destruction sent a clear message. Ukraine's military capabilities are getting more sophisticated. This strike was backed by extensive reconnaissance. 3 weeks of covert intel gathering made the attack possible. It all started with Ukraine's 73rd Special Reconnaissance Group, which began collecting intel in late April. They used layered surveillance strategies to figure out the depot's purpose and weak points. Drones kept watch from above, tracking truck movement and mapping ammo deliveries. It became clear that Kartysk wasn't just a storage site. It was a vital hub feeding Russian artillery across the Donetsk front. As the second month of surveillance began, thermal imaging picked up active cooling systems deep inside the facility, used only when huge ammo stockpiles risk overheating and accidental explosions. That told Ukrainian planners the depot was full and operational, but they needed to be sure. So they used the EU's Sentinel-1 radar satellites, which revealed intense reflections under the depot's roof, signs of dense metal stockpiles and heavy equipment. Comparing radar images, drone footage, and thermal data eliminated the risk of hitting decoys or empty buildings. This intelligence fusion gave planners a detailed internal map, highlighting not only where the ammo was, but also the layout of load-bearing walls, corridors, and structural weaknesses. As targeting day approached, analysts worked to maximize the strike's impact. The timing of the attack was calculated to minimize ionospheric disturbances that could throw off missile guidance. Launching at 4:30 a.m. ensured peak missile accuracy. Recon also confirmed minimal Russian personnel activity during the early hours, reducing the chance of being spotted. This wasn't just a convenient time, it was the only window to get it right. The final targeting package pulled from all available sources: drone surveillance, thermal imagery, radar scans. Analysts picked structural weak points that would turn each missile hit into a chain reaction. The goal wasn't just to destroy ammo, it was to collapse the building from the inside, amplifying the secondary blasts and rendering the depot useless. That required perfect accuracy. Every warhead had to strike the exact zone assigned to it, and each explosion had to trigger another. And that's exactly what happened. Seconds after impact, the depot erupted in a string of explosions far beyond the initial blast. The firestorm gutted the reinforced structure completely. The destruction was the result of weeks of painstaking intelligence work and precise execution. Nothing was left to chance. This intel-led strike didn't just blow up a warehouse. It broke the backbone of Russia's artillery supply in the Donetsk front. Here's how the battlefield shifted. The domino effect was immediate. Within minutes, debris from the blast forced the Donetsk railway line to shut down for 7 hours. That line was a key artery for moving Russian supplies and equipment in eastern Ukraine. The shutdown created a massive bottleneck that rippled across the entire logistics chain, delaying deliveries and forcing planners to scramble for backup routes. What started as a local disruption quickly turned into a systemic shock. Losing just one depot exposed the fragility of Russia's supply system. Kartysk wasn't just any depot. It was a high-level regional ammo hub, classified as Grade 5 in old Soviet military terms, regularly storing up to 5,000 tons of shells, rockets, and other munitions. Field observers recorded an average of 60 trucks unloading there daily, mostly with 152mm shells and 122mm rockets. These are the backbone of Russia's artillery tactics in Donetsk. Destroying that stockpile created a gap that can't be easily filled. Now, instead of drawing from one central hub, Russian logistics teams are scrambling to piece together supplies from smaller, scattered warehouses. At the end of the video, thank you for listening, and please follow the S News channel. Watch the upcoming videos and support us by subscribing, liking,